You've recorded your music and you're ready to get it out into the world. What next? Stick around because I'm going to show you the 5 things that you're going to need in order to upload it successfully to a digital distributor. I'm Sharonewatkins and I'm a recording artist that achieved hundreds of thousands of streams and views within the first year of releasing my music. How did I do that? I'm also a global marketer and have an MBA, and I'm going to show you how I applied that to my music to make it successful. If you're an independent artist with a limited amount of time to spend on the business aspect of your music, you're going to want to subscribe and like this video so you don't miss out. Firstly, let's talk about your music itself. You're going to want to ask your masterer for the absolute best quality that you can get. Digital distributors vary on the requirements for sound files that you can upload, but you can always reduce the quality of the sound file on, say, iTunes after the fact. You can't increase it. So you're going to want to, wherever possible, ask for a stereo WAV, 96 kilohertz sample rate, a 24-bit sample size, and 1411 kilobits per second bitrate. Some digital distributors may also limit you on the actual size of the file, say to 1 gigabyte. But again, you can always reduce the size of the file after the fact. It's much better to get the highest quality you possibly can, and then you can compress with iTunes later. Number 2, let's talk about your song title. You're going to want to do a search for your song title on all the major DSPs. You don't want to have done all of this work, recording your music and releasing it, only to find out that you're competing against a major recording artist with the exact same song title. I'm not going to get into algorithms today, but believe me, it doesn't help your case when you're competing against the exact same title by somebody else. Number 3, let's talk about your artwork. Each digital distributor have their own requirements of what artwork needs to be. But I'm going to cover the major formats and specifications that you can apply to your artwork to make sure that it will be pretty much accepted across any digital distributor. If you go with a JPEG that's 3000 pixels by 3000 pixels, you're pretty safe on every single platform. You want to make sure the resolution is as high as possible, so at least 300 dpi. And the rule of thumb on text is either don't put any or keep it to your song title and the artist name. You want to make sure that the colour you use is RGB and not CMYK. And also, from an aspect ratio point of view, you need to make sure it's a perfect square. And by that I mean that it is 3000 by 3000 pixels and not a pixel different. Number 4, let's talk about lyrics. You can add your lyrics to your song on most digital distributors' platforms. However, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to arrive with the DSP. A lot of DSPs, for example Spotify and Instagram, use a third party to sync the lyrics to the music. So you would have to go to those separate platforms in order to do that. However, the lyrics that you upload with your digital distributor will land with Apple. And for this reason, most digital distributors follow the Apple guidelines for lyric upload. You can find that link to the Apple guidelines in the description for this video, but I'm going to cover some top level tips on this. First of all, you want to sit, listen to your song, and again this sounds simple, and go through the lyrics. Make sure the lyrics exactly match the words in your song. That means that if there's a line that's repeated 5 times, it should be repeated 5 times in your lyrics. You also shouldn't include any labels of segments for your song. For example, verse, chorus, middle, 8. The way you mark those changes in the segments of your song is by putting a double return, so a double space. Everything else should be single space with a capital at the beginning of line and no punctuation at the end of the line. Keep it simple and you should be fine. Number 5, metadata. I want to dispel the myth of the complexity of metadata right now. Metadata is simply the information about your song that's held in the background that tells DSPs where your song sits, who to deliver it to, and which playlists to add it to. So it is important, but you've addressed most of it already with your artist name and your song title and your artwork. The other part to focus on when you're uploading your song to make your metadata complete is the genre of your song. You really want to make sure that you do plenty of research and that you describe your song effectively in the genre section of your digital distributor. The other piece that's held in the metadata is your ISRC code, but most digital distributors will provide this when you upload the song. So don't worry too much about codes at this point. We'll talk about them another time. And that's it. Everything you're going to need to upload your music to your digital distributor. I hope you found this useful. If you have any questions or additional sessions that you'd like me to cover, put them in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe and like this video so you don't miss out on future ones. I'm Sharonewatkins. Keep on creating.